Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today the Nasdaq closed the day red, down $7.63 per share. The SPY also closed the day red, down $7.90 per share. Now let's have a look at the fear and greed index. So currently the indicator is still at 4, and like I mentioned in my most recent video, the last time that we saw the fear and greed index down this low was back in August of 2024. Back then, the market created a bottom and rallied to new all-time highs. Alright, so before I get to the charts, let's have a listen to this clip.
At the end of the day, it is excessively rare to have this type of activity 2 days in a row. It's not rare to see a Friday type of sell-off into the weekend and have the exacerbated bottom that Mike is talking about on a Monday. In fact, on Monday, March 20th, you and I were on the Markets of Turmoil show after the market closed on COVID. And at that day, I said the markets were going to rally up 50%. And so I'm not being flippant. I'm not being stubbornly bullish. I believe in what the market is telling us historically. And since 1950, when you have these types of moves in these successive days, 12 months out, the market's up 29%. Now, does that mean that we're not going to see these exacerbated moves on a short-term basis? Nobody can predict those. Nobody can time those. But what we can predict is the fundamental backdrop. Longer term, near term, yes, we have some damage here, and we will assess that and assess our target once we know where the bottom is and when we begin to recover from that.
Okay.
The perfect quote that fits this narrative is that history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So, as per usual, I will be going over the technicals on a few stocks that I believe have a good upside potential. But first, let's have a look at the VIX. So, yesterday as the VIX came below support at $46, the market had a rally. If you watched my last video, I said that if the VIX got rejected at $46, then you should look for it to come down to $37.16. And I also said if that happened, the market would also get a much needed bounce. As you guys can see, that is exactly what happened. Now, with the VIX back above support at 46, be on the lookout for the markets to keep pulling back. With that said, the current support for the VIX is at $46. Below 46, its next support is at $37.16. Above current support, there is resistance at $60 and at $73. And like I said earlier, as long as the VIX is above $46, be on the lookout for more downside in the markets. Now, let's take a look at the Nasdaq Triple Qs. So, yesterday's rally was a result of the Nasdaq coming down and bouncing perfectly off my support zone at 406. Now, with the markets in pullback mode, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a few extra levels to watch. Currently, the Nasdaq has support at 412 and at 406. Should it fall below 406, I want you guys to watch the next support at 392 and at 377. Above 412, there is resistance at 423 and at 453. Now, let me go ahead and give you guys a few extra levels to watch on ticker symbol TSLA, Tesla. Currently, Tesla has support at 215. Below 215, there is support at 195 and at 185. Now, above current support, there is resistance at 246 and at $300 per share. If you guys would like to know my predictions on Tesla's stock, then have a look at my previous videos. Let's now have a look at SoFi Technologies. As you guys can see, SoFi is reacting perfectly to my support and resistance zones. With that said, keep your eyes on these levels. Currently, SoFi has support at 870. If it falls below 870, I want you guys to look for it to come down to its next support at 731. And below 731, your next support is at 650. Above current support, SoFi has resistance at 1029 and at $11 per share. My personal target for SoFi is at $15.43. The next stock is Upstart, ticker symbol UPST. So currently Upstart is holding perfectly above my support zone at $32 per share. If it falls below that level, then look for it to come down to $27. Now, above current support, there is resistance at 41 and at $46 per share. Now, as for my price target, I'll be looking for Upstart to get back to $73 per share. Let's now have a look at Nvda, ticker symbol NVDA. So, with the recent market rally, from its bottom, Nvda saw a bounce of almost 22%. Currently, Nvidia is holding perfectly above my support zone at $96 per share. If it falls below that, the stock has support at $93, and below $93 there is support at $89 and at $85 per share. Now, above current support, there is resistance at 103 and at 109. Once the market turns bullish, I want you guys to look for Nvidia to have a run to $148 per share. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you guys in the next one.